Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rise of the Womb Oracle Summit. I am your host, Athena Sai, Oracle and Wisdom Keeper of the Blue Rose Codes, and I am here to really usher in this new way of being. I have gathered women from all over the world, experts in their fields, to join together and really start to share our stories as these medicine women, healers, mystics, and really the womb wisdom keepers of Gaia. And so we are gathered here to really start to shift the perspective of how we're all viewing the way that we're operating in this world. And so we have arrived at this beautiful space collectively, right? Like where we're finally remembering who we are, not just at soul, but like over soul level. Right. So we're remembering our soul family and our tribes, both of the earth and the waters, as well as the stars. And so one of the most amazing ways that we can actually do this is when we gather together and share our stories, when we share our struggles and our triumphs, when we are, really encouraging each other to dream bigger. And that's really what this is about, is that ability to co-create, right, these new solutions that, things that are occurring on earth. It's like we need more people to make these bigger changes. And so we're here as these wisdom keepers to anchor in these creation codes, right? Really, for me and all of us, it's about more peace, more love, more pleasure, right? More happiness, more union and harmony. And we're doing this to create a better tomorrow for our children and for the earth. And so one of the themes that I've kind of, when I was sitting in and starting to create this summit, is this remembrance. And it's, we remember together, we heal together, we rise together, and we thrive together. And I think that is like the staple of what this summit is about. So without further ado, I want to introduce the one and only, my special guest and Dragon Empress and Soul Sister, Reverend Devi Grace. And I just want to do a little intro of her, and then we're going to dive into some interview questions. So she is an ordained Gnostic minister, Essene bishop, Kundalini Yoga instructor, a caring economy advocate. She is an advanced energy medicine practitioner, twin flame physics mentor, oracle for Gaia, childhood walk-in, trained channel, initiated medicine woman, shamanic guide, geomancy consultant, integral coach, spiritual messenger, multiple near-death experiencer. She's also a Star Nations contactee, shamanic alchemist, and a somatic teacher of the male-female soul embodiment. She is also an accomplished public speaker for multi-generational ancestral healing, as well as one of the co-authors in the internationally award-winning Ancestors Within book series and journals, volume number 2. So this is titled Discover and Connect with Your Ancient Origins. And also her Sacred Marriage Hieros Gamos leadership training programs have empowered many gifted mystery school directors, as her laws of grace bring profound levels of freedom and sovereignty from the ancient future to adepts worldwide. Hello and welcome. How are you?
Thank you for that receivership, my sister. And I know it's a lot of verbiage. However, we do have the great good pleasure of unpacking what those codes actually mean for the larger body of the sacred sisterhood in reclamation of their embodied wholeness. Love is the name of the game, and we play, like I said, within the supernal powers of grace. And we have had the honor of co-creating with each other since really December. So this is kind of our 7-month anniversary. And we are both, passionate, initiated high priestesses of the Arc of Grace. And so this summit has lots of, juicy, deep foundational roots within the heart womb oracle of Gaia Sophia Automatena, as we say. That's her in her planetary destiny. And I know that we keep highlighting again and again for adepts worldwide that planetary Tantra is this game-changing restoration of these original temple promises that we made Many people have their recollections and their remembrances, at least back to Lemuria. However, these original Ark of Grace stargates are pure, pristine, and have never, quote unquote, been compromised or hijacked. Therefore, this womb oracle at the level of the planetary Tantra is the largest dispensation of grace the species will ever experience. This is the miracle of all miracles. And, you know, I'm not being just flippantly just gregarious right now. This is the Divine Mother herself, you know, the great she that is basically proclaiming through us, because we're all messengers on her behalf, that this turning of the tides is actually genuinely available. So this quote unquote summit is a sacred circle of oracular intelligence and oracular messengers, and you will experience all of these echoes through all of these different gifted, talented, remarkable goddesses that you're calling together, and everyone's going to feel the parallels between this collective voice of her in all capital letters, right? She's saying it slightly differently through all of us, except this resounding resolve is the demarcation, my children, is at hand. And the point of surrender is being made available to you. Now translate all of the teachings across all of the ages into that shamanic, embodied, somatic actualization with nature's global intelligence system. We must power up individually, now with the collective womb oracle field of consciousness within the morphogenetic field of the planet. So if that's the one thing you remember out of this whole interview, your roots are your power plugs, right? If a woman isn't practicing some version of planetary Tantra, which is the right use of her sacred sexual power with the earth and the air and the wind and the fire and the metal, and as Jacqueline Hobbs says, the quintessence of the sixth element, which is really the world soul of, you know, the whole planet that brought us here, each and every one of us here, to have this journey of growth and transformation that this living biosphere is physically hosting. And it's about time that we bow in reverence back to the sentient intelligence that brought us all here. And in so doing, then she can whisper, right? The womb oracle whisperer is Pachamama, Pachatata. It's both a male and female, right? Like that Hebrew, the sacred androgyny of both the yin and the yang for every form of deity. So she has both her divine masculine and her divine feminine. And so I am in service to her impeccability. You know, I have nothing other to do with my entire human existence than speak on behalf of her eternal wisdom. So my nickname was, you know, Speaking Tree of Life for Gaia. So as much as I appreciate you introducing me, I feel like I'm paying homage to the great lady of the whole planet, because she is our number one womb oracle of us all. And when women remember that we are wild expressions, right, of her deliciousness and lusciousness, the, you know, the rewilding of the divine feminine, it's not like we're all going feral. And it's not like, you know, we're going back into just a pagan existence, because I'm very much connected to the Sophianic lineages, you know, the feminine Christ consciousness. It's the best of everything coming together now inside of that medicine wheel, which is her wheel of life, which is her womb portal, right, to literally the heart of all creation. So in the heart of the planet is this stargate, crystalline stargate, that links for those who have surrendered to that state of trusting and accepting and allowing divine mystery to flow through us in every cell and atom and molecule. Then, you know, we are ushered into the great return to the ongoing moment of creation through the body of the center of this planet. So this planet is a vortex back to eternal source or eternal first creation, that life lotus. And that's what's got to go mainstream. That cannot be, right? Well, that's just too esoteric. And I don't understand what she's saying. So may the purpose of this whole conversation give that, right, the honor that it's actually due. Ta-da!
Yeah. And I love all that, because you're weaving so much of the work that we've done together, as well as my own journey of, waking up. I've only, I mean, it's been my whole life. Let's get real. It's the whole life, but really consciously, consciously, actively, doing that inner work and really seeking this medicine. And, the goddess always whispers through the wind to me. And, that's this whole thing is I was on this search for I kept hearing womb oracle, like you are that. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And so it kind of took me on this journey to seeking out teachers. And I know I put that out into the universe. And, you came into my field after I requested a teacher to help me, because I'm from a tiny little town. There's not a lot of people like me here. So I had to start seeking elsewhere. And when you put that prayer out into the world, those teachers come. So I'm honored that you are here. So let's go into a little bit about, because I know we talk a lot about dragon consciousness. We talk about womb. It all intertwines. So I guess, why do you feel like the womb oracles, the dragon consciousness is really on the rise right now?
Well, I'm so happy to celebrate that it really has reached mainstream, as so many of us are fond patrons, quote unquote, of the dragon lineages. There is this reverence for the ancient of ancients. And once one delves back into the ancient of ancients, you're gonna start talking to dragon consciousness. And so all of that myth and lore and legend, it's not fantasy, okay? There are other messengers like the founder of Oracle Girl that basically have been affirming and confirming, even with Chinese archaeologists that are now finding out that our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, are dragons. And that may seem radical. However, there's that film I Am Dragon that came out of Russia, and it's English subtitles. Sorry, you have to put up with the ancestral intelligence of these other continents and these other cultures. And they basically created that realization that the dragons shape-shifted and ultimately mated with humans. Okay. And the dragons are really, really smart. They're not going to mate with just any human. Okay. You've got to be a really, really super high frequency human to mate with a dragon. And that's where we have been discussing the shining ones, those of us that are descendants of the elven fae, the ever living ones. So if you're a dragon, right, and you're looking to consummate with a beloved, you're going to look for a descendant of those bloodlines, because they carry starfire in their body and they respect the natural world, right? So the descendants of the shining ones or the elven fae are very shamanically respectful of nature's principles. And then that correlates to what you would call the tenets of the dragon magic, which is, do no harm if you're in the benevolent orientation, which, our crew is. And so people, they're just literally, their minds are blown when I say our ancestors are dragons. This is not a fairy tale of Pete's dragon, where it's this outside mythic creature. In my blood flows the blood of the dragons. And therefore, that is my part of my human body that is the womb oracle. Because if you carry physical dragon blood in your body, not just, oh, I was that an ancient, moo. No, like thousands and thousands and thousands of years of these sacred, luminous DNA, RNA strands of cellular light, organic light, then there's the realization that spirit is penetrating and merging into matter, when you have a dragon that can shapeshift like a thunderbird and make love to a human female, and that child is literally a hybrid of both worlds. And so, as much as I had all my childhood near-death experiences, I found out pretty darn quick that I'm not just a human female, and that I'm part angelic, right? I'm an angelic human. I'm also part dragon. I'm a dragon human. I'm also part intergalactic, right? At cosmic increased frequencies of consciousness. So I'm very much, this eclectic representation of these original celestial councils in my anatomy and physiology, which is, utterly amazing that, they could do this with somebody like me, to just be the receptacle. I am the chalice grail. There are other elders that have basically said I'm an authentic reoccurrence of the Sangreal, the Holy Grail. And so you'll see all those Holy Grail, right? Chalices that are both the phoenix and the dragon, and so this is where we get those Avalon covenants and the Avalon trees of grace. All of this, it's not going to be in English. Just go to Valaiste, Zobakoro Dolaite, Zadadaito Panas. All of this multidimensional truth is coming back online. And one could say that the legends are becoming real once again through us, through our body temples. And that's one of my prime directives, is to bring back the resurrection of Alba on Albion, resurrection of the cosmic Holy Grail, the resurrection of the cosmic Excalibur. And the dragons are right there. And Gaia is right there, of like, this is what is a part of the divine order of the entire universe, that this is restored. And that affects every ladybug and every lizard and every child in Africa and every creek and every stream. This isn't some, altruistic, utopian, right, vision. It's like, how are you going to get clean water back on this planet, clean air, right? Actual fertile soil, right, to create food that's filled with radiant minerals and sustenance. I mean, basics. That this is bringing back healthy nourishment and sustenance for us all, because the dragon energy is all about life force. You don't get the animation of the spirit in the body without the prana, without the chi, without the radiant substance. So dragons are masters of life force. Even if you call it Kundalini, which is like an old term out of India, because it's just the infinity spark of all creation, source energy coursing through each and every one of us. The dragon body is not going to suppress that. The dragon body is not going to repress that. The dragon body is akin to that part of us that has never been duped into separation or duality at its original divine blueprint. And I'm not saying, of course, Valerie Elster will highlight a lot of this as well. We have had trauma in our dragon incarnations. I'm not spiritually bypassing that the impact of those veils of illusion haven't been registered by all our different manifestations. However, there is an ancient principle of the miracle substance, of the primordial essence, of the light, of the life force, of the radiant great central sun that burns and blazes through each and every one of us. If we give that dragon fire, if we give that dragon spark, if we give that dragon joy and love and inspiration, permission to revivify us, it's like the part of us that is the most ancient champion of how do you merge heaven and earth, quite physically. And that's what they are reminding each and every one of us, that we have this already incorporated into our genealogy, and that it's not just, you know, the ancient tales of, you know, noble adventures and dragon riders. You know, I am a dragon rider all the way through my central channel and down into my yoniverse, right? Feel that one. Okay. Yeah. Dragon rider means that spinal column of that dragon goes all the way down, right, to my feminine reproductive organs. Okay. And this is where you get immaculate conception. What, you think Mother Mary wasn't a dragon rider? This is why we have the Sophia dragon code. Okay, if you're going to receive and gestate pure light spark frequency in your physical human womb, then yeah, the dragon alchemy, yes, the dragon magic is very alive in our bodies. And no, it's not a rare miracle, right? It's like immaculate conception is in multiple cultures, multiple traditions, not just Mother Mary. And when I died, literally at the moment of my death, I was having a Kundalini awakening. And then my dragon body just took over and said, okay, human body is down for the count right now. Dragon body, front and center. And those people that took my life, they're like, uh-oh, what do we have on our hands? Because I was literally resurrecting my dragon right before their eyes. And they went, oh, we didn't see this coming, right? It's like, you can take out the human, but you can't take out me. Because my soul is a dragon. So if you're just starting out, just play with the concept that this extraordinarily brilliant creature of infinite wisdom, infinite magic, infinite divine intelligence is like the animated keeper of the flame of your soul spark of infinity. And that's the simplest way that I can, you know, explain it. This is the Dragon Council, you know, basically saying, get your dragon on, humans, because it makes life, you know, really quite enjoyable, right? More fun, more play, more beauty, more pleasure, more wealth, right? Not just physical wealth, also sacred wealth, sacred abundance, sacred plenty of all good things, all good blessings. You know, it's like, imagine that your inner dragon is your inner, you know, fairy godmother. What would you create in your life if you had that kind of support?
Oh, I love all of that. Like, I don't even know where to like break all that down because you mentioned so many different things. Well, because this leads in, because you've already spoke about the planetary tantra, and you know that you know, opening up and really receiving those energies of the dragon and of Gaia. So can you explain more for people that are watching, what is the planetary tantra and how can they, you know, what is maybe something simple that they can do to actually start to access that or remember that?
One of our primary messengers for the ancient scrolls of planetary tantra that academically got translated out of Tibet is Jamlan Lash out of Nimata, a Sophianic school of arts and science. And so planetary tantra is the science also of geomancy, and also the alchemical science of planetary transfiguration. Ooh la la. So, you know, planetary tantra, right? Because we also speak of this divine fire of love's creation, which is both the phoenix and the dragon in the Maha Tantra. Imagine what that makes possible inside of the grid systems, right? Or the meridians or the ley lines of the planet. So use the metaphor of Asian medicine and acupuncture and feel into the benefit that acupuncture serves in opening up all those energy pathways for people. Yep. Well, planetary tantra is earth acupuncture for the whole planet, right? Because people say, what do you do? And I birth planets into their destiny. And so it's earth acupuncture services of global grid activation, of moving that same radiant life force through the dragon lines of the planet. Okay, so the dragon lines of the planet is not just your regular electromagnetic, right, circuitry. It's also plasma, right? That's also multidimensional, as we said in the Knights Templar, Sophia, right? The infusion of that light substance, that liquid light, and drenching that liquid light, not just the creeks and the rivers. We know that water is needed for all existence to grow and proliferate. So the light and the waters of the Holy Grail, the waters of life, are the spirit waters. And so it's like literally you're dousing the planet with the waters of the Holy Grail. That's planetary Tantra. However, John Lamb Lash basically says it's reuniting with the primal dreaming magic, right, of the Shaktiism of the great goddess, right, of the biosphere. So the personification of the planet as she is goddess, first and foremost, and she is a sexual being, a tantric being, and that planetary tantra is realizing that she must be romanced and appreciated. And it's the difference between like a woman being made a sexual object by the distorted masculine ignorance versus the divine masculine worshiping the temple of the divine mother, because the holographic replication of the divine mother's womb is physically inside of like the uterus of every single, right, female on the planet. And it doesn't matter if you've had a hysterectomy, right? It's not an organ, right? It's a womb chakra, and it's a womb vortex. And even if you're a guy, the womb chakra is in the hara of the men. So both men and women practice planetary tantra in that awakening of that womb chakra vortex power center that is at the heart of all martial arts traditions, right? And the Dantian.
The Dantian, yep. Mm-hmm.
And realizing that this sacred tantric anatomy and physiology that's in all these different mystery schools and all these different cultures also applies to the planetary body. That is a galactic perspective. And that's why there is this reference that this sacred feminine deity, Sophia, right, came down and took on the form of this planet to host humanity, to grow through the free will experiment. And that if we recognize that she made that gesture, right, because she is an aspect of the primordial mother Sophia in the body of the planet, not as an idea, as a truth, then if you're going to say that you're a devotee of the divine mother, then you're going to see that the divine mother's body is in the body of the whole planet. And what do we have in all of our temples of love? Reverence, adoration, worship, devotion, and supplication to that principle of the Shakti that is the radiance of all life. I mean, it's the ultimate gift of the power of life itself. That's her point of the immaculate conception of the body of the whole planet. That's the gesture that she made. That's how much love the Divine Mother has for each and every one of us. And I guarantee you, you really register what these words are transmitting, you're gonna weep. That's the magnitude of the Divine Mother's love. Now, why would it bring you to tears? It means that whatever trauma you've experienced, right, in any of your timelines, there's more than enough love in the body of the planet to heal what your brain would tell you could never be healed.
Yeah.
So your deepest, darkest terror, your deepest, darkest nightmare, please don't try to transmute that by yourself. Wouldn't recommend it. Might take a few eons to set that puppy free. However, in partnership with Planetary Tantra, then the healing of that polarity of where you fractured or where you disassociated or where you splintered or where your ancestors, right, went into some kind of a polarized schism, the frequency of love that's capable of penetrating that sacred wound is available through planetary Tantra. This isn't some romanticized, worship of nature's beauty, even though that's awesome, right? That's a start. Like visually, she's spectacular in these power centers and these telluric power grids, right? Like Yosemite and the Grand Tetons and, the wonders of the world. Yes, it's spectacular to behold nature's wonders for sure. However, if you're also talking to the nature spirits and the elementals and the divas, right? And the animating essence of the tree people, right? And the spirit of the tiger, and the goddess of the sea, and all of it together, and really register the amount of astronomical, astounding, cosmic, celestial, galactic love that is oozing through the body of the whole planet and holds each and every one of us in unconditional love for all that we are. That's just astounding, right? Astounding love.
And it takes time. I mean, for me, like I've really deepened my journey, like I said, over the last few years, but that was something I had to learn, is like just how much I am loved and deserving of that. And so it's really real when we're connecting with the goddess and with the womb, that we also have to do that inner work. Like we have to do that inner work to shift and to grow and to learn that we are love, and coming back to that innocence and purity of our heart and soul. And so I love that you brought that up, because that is what it is, but sometimes it can be difficult. So that's why I think when we gather together like this, like we can start to see, oh yeah, okay, like you said, the parallels, right? Those are coming together, and then we can grow and heal and thrive together. So I love so much. Actually, I love everything you said. Not so much all of it.
And the healing is actually repairing, right? Wherever the energy bodies have been torn.
Yes.
Right? We're talking about, fierce conflict has transpired on this planet, and extensive abuse frequencies, as Dr. Jacqueline Hobbs says. And so to overcome what you would call significant injury to your physical body or your energy bodies or your light bodies, right? Or your muscles or your bones. Like basically, my body is a medical miracle. When they took x-rays of my spinal column, they were like, you're lucky to not be paralyzed. Like, how do you not have massive amounts of pain? And I was like, planetary Tantra. So I went through the atrocities of all of that violence to literally kind of prove that the miracle of planetary Tantra is real. There's no other way that my body could have survived that death. There's no other way that my body could have reanimated that which got, like, not just kind of, right, damaged, significantly damaged, right? Medical miracle. And so you hear all these stories of people that have miraculous regeneration and replenishment of all that was kind of like sucked out of them, kind of like the vampire complex. And so, I know humanity is somewhat afraid of the dragon consciousness, because sometimes it gets correlated with some pretty unpleasant, right, manipulations and interference energies. And so, I'll just say it instead of a transmuter box right now. We've had the Draconian Empire, okay? We've also had the Order of the Dracul, right? We've had what you would call supernatural trauma on this planet from negative high frequency beings, okay? And it's made humanity, very reticent and very skittish and rightfully not exactly enthusiastic to engage with very powerful totems or very powerful supernatural beings if we feel so vulnerable because our boundaries got crossed in other timelines or in other dimensions or in other realities, and those ancient wounds of like sacrifice to the dragons, right? That was part of human sacrifice. So some nasty stuff went down in the Aztec cultures, over in Russia. There was the black dragon lineage. That stuff is awful. And so, there's a lot of forgiveness, a ho'oponopono of what you would call the shadow dragon energy before you can actually embrace the divine dragon energy. And I'm not here to just paint this, like Pollyanna version of planetary Tantra. Planetary Tantra will take you into, so where did you get tortured by the Draconian Empire? Possibly, right? I'm not programming that that's everybody's reality. However, like, how are you going to recover from something that devastating? You see what I'm saying? Just food for thought of like, it's bad enough that there's all this family violence on this planet, and then look at all the multidimensional, intrusions and invasions, and you name it. The stargates were compromised all the way back in Sumeria, and you did have the Order of the Black Dragon set up residence quite a few thousand years ago. So that's scary stuff. And so it's not to just be dismissed as, oh, well, that's all a fable. Talk to your cellular memory. No, like, been there, done that. And so this is the purpose of the womb oracles, to heal that which has never been healed before.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take one womb oracle, as you will see when Athena and Valerie and I co-present. There's a minimum of 3 of us, maiden, mother, crone, 3 aspects of the goddess. And that's how we get the miraculous transformation that people have when they, quote unquote, partake of these offerings. It's too much for one womb oracle to address.
Yeah.
It's not like the Delphi oracle. It was like the Delphi oracles. And this may sound really radical. There wasn't just one Magdalene, okay? The Order of the Magdalens. Come on, like, let's get real. So when the sisterhood of the womb oracle is starting to reclaim our true heritage of our literal initiations and trainings and rites of passage across hundreds and thousands of lifetimes, as Cryan said, the females are the original shamans. All original medicine wisdom keepers came originally in the body of the feminine principle. And so if you're realizing that she is the source of all life, and dragon power is astronomically remarkable, which can be used to have experiences of significant separation. The dragon trauma. Wouldn't it make sense that you got to bring in some of the same magic as the antidote? You see what I'm saying? As much as we have experienced the negative side of this puppy, now we're reclaiming all of the quote unquote positive side of the gifts. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, we survived, right? This stark contrast that we played out here. And now we're coming to the sweet spot of the reconciliation of all opposites. And that means we're moving into crystalline dragon energy. And so for me, people go like, well, what kind of dragons do you have? And I'm like, opalescent rainbow. They're not green, they're not red, they're not blue. Okay. In that white fire that they are is this crystalline fire, because it's an iridescent fire, because they're every color frequency and all existence. It's not like, are you the order of the red dragon? Are you the order of the white dragon? Are you the order of the green dragon? none of the above. I'm the order of source dragon, which is every color. It's a kaleidoscope. And they are here to help humanity recover from generations of chaos. That's their pledge. And they come to us first and foremost. Prerequisite is you've got to have your basics, the planetary Tantra in place so that you're grounded and anchored and rooted, right, in this shamanic essential basics. Otherwise, the dragon energy will blow your circuits. And in the early days, like, I felt like I was being hit by, the thunder of gods. I literally felt like I was being electrocuted, and I was like, is this really the way it's supposed to go? Because this is like really intense, and I kind of feel like I'm dying. And they're like, oh, is that a bit too much voltage? I'm like, yeah, kind of. Can we figure out how to spiral this in with a little bit more, grace and ease? And so I've kind of been their guinea pig of like, right, we have to go slow with humans. You guys can't handle our massive amplitude of light. I was like, yeah, we kind of need to acclimate to where you're at, right? So we're getting caught up, right? So we can move like Thor, right? That bolt of lightning of the dragon energy through our bodies, and it feel yummy and good and pleasurable and even orgasmic.
Yeah, and do you feel like the cosmic energies, within our own solar system, those are assisting us? Like all of the things that has been transpiring, like it's assisting us to be able to hold more of that lightning. So yeah, that's definitely so the people that are watching the ups and downs, the roller coasters, all the things that you may be experiencing, like if you can have another perspective of that, it's actually assisting you to shed those layers and really step into this space of receiving, and just knowing that you are opening up and we are collectively moving into that golden age. I mean, we've been talking about it, and we're in that 200-year period where it's moving from one area to the other, that little egg. Yeah. And we're moving on. And so just know that it's happening for us, and we really are evolving and expanding. And one thing that you had mentioned too was about Magdalene and the group of the oracles that I want to touch on is that's how she presented herself to me when I started working with her, in the sheer red veil. But then another vision was she was on the cliffside, and she brought me to this women of virgins. And by the way, virgins does not mean without sex. Virgin is the holy vessel. And so she really helped me. They were like playing and dancing and singing, and they were in circle, joyful, and they were like lifting their skirts and showing, the yoni and the universe. And they're like, this is the eye, this is the heart of the universe. Like, this is where you are supposed to be. And so like that kind of initiated me into that search for the oracle. So I absolutely understand it's not about just one. It can't be about just one. I've also had visions of, us. Like, I didn't know it was us at first, but it is us. It's us as we're walking through the sands of time, and how, it is at least 3 or more people that are doing this transformational work, either on the actual sacred sites and different portals, brand new dragon portals that are opening up a lot, even working with, groups of women and their own wombs, allowing those dragon eggs to be birthed. And so all of that is coming in. And so, yeah, I'm there with you.
So there is a correlation, of course, between our feminine bodies and that femininity in nature itself. Another dear sister, Claire Dubois, who started Tree Sisters, it's the restoration of the feminine principle in seeing our own feminine anatomy and physiology reflected back to us through the natural world. And that's when I can tell when a sister is disassociated from her body. She goes like, what's all this, moss and frog and, fern and creek thing in my tailbone, or in my femur? I'm like, if you had access to a council of grandmothers when you were growing as a little girl, you would have been taught, my child, to see that nature is in you and you are in nature. And there's a symbiosis, right, with the womb of the planet and the womb of our bodies. And this is why the cave work is so important. Where do the dragons sleep? In the caves, right? Particularly the deepest caves on the planet are in France. Of course, that's where the Cathars, right, had their headquarters. And so the sisterhood went down into the caves. And that's where you would talk to the part of your human anatomy between your hips, right? The hips is the seat of the soul, the pelvic girdle, where we hold our deepest ancient wounds, first, second, third chakras, if you're still using that system, right? Lower bodies. And this is the waking down. The dragon is not about waking up. The dragon is waking down, bringing that essence of your soul into your pelvic girdle, because that's the seat of our fertility of self-love. Where are you going to get access to fertility in your brain? No. And people are like, I've been told that the solution to my entire life problems is self-love, right? Well, that's an intellectual conversation. And we're grateful to the spiritual movement that at least has brought it down to the heart, right? From the mind down to the heart. Now we're the next emanation. Like, keep going, folks, because it doesn't actually land. In all practical honesty, embodied love for ourselves is through the womb.
Mhm.
You heal the broken heart, right? The heart wounds are healed through the womb chakra. And this is
Yes.
all, right? And the lineage, right? Of all of the womb curanderas, right? The womb shamans, the female womb shamans, right? If you've had a major loss or major grief or major travesty, okay? The womb nectars, amrita, right? From the seat of all fertility that can rise up from underneath the heart and heal the always, right? The devastation, the sadness, the overwhelm, the freak out, whatever it was, like your, most gnarly core wound. It's not going to be able to release. It's not going to be able to flush out without the waters and the fires of the womb, right? The waters of life and the fires of life in the womb chakra. And, that's the Black Madonna teachings. That's the lineage, right? Of the Kali and the Pele and the Sekhmet and the Pratangara, the fierce goddess,
The
right?
liberator.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
liberator, right?
She sets up camp right here, down here, right? And she is primordial love, right? And she takes all of that intensity and just goes to void. The portal to the void is like through the womb, the heart of the womb. That's why it's called the heart womb. And so void is 0 point. Void is grace point. Void is grail point. That's where the Holy Grail is, right? Housed in the chalice sangreal of the womb. And it's working in partnership with that flower that is that yoni, right? The orchid, all the images of the Madonna and the Yoni and the Yoni and the Madonna. It's those 7 gates. It's through the labia, right? It's through the vagina that you get access through the cervix, right? And into the deeper 5th, 6th, and 7th gates. We did go into that on the 12-12,
Yes, we
and
did. Yep.
that's, with the Guadalupe and, with the Tonantzin and, ancient indigenous earth fertility goddesses. That's that part of us that knows that no matter what you go through in quote unquote any of your contracts, there's some part of you that's still pure and pristine, untouched by any form of illusion. And yes, we have that nectar in our heart. However, the part of us that has never ever, right, known duality is in the holy of the holies of our wombs, not just the holy of the holies within our hearts. And so this is where Tibetan womb pulsing came from, right? Where I physically straddle both men and women and I ride the dragon, boom, through their body in that correlation with that planetary Tantra direct experience. And it has lit up people where they just reclaim, right, their authentic self. They're like, whoa, I'm back in the house. And we had a lineage, of Isis, Magdalene, Sophia retreat in Crete, the island of Elada, and we did a group womb pulsing field there, and some of the sisters, right, accessed that power center of their sacred sexual sovereignty, and their lives just took off. And so it's not so much that, we don't appreciate modern technologies, because I love being able to connect with you via Zoom, right? And that we can speak to any of our sisters anywhere on the planet. However, this laptop is not me straddling you and pulsing you, right? With the womb jaguar power of the Black Panther. The Black Panther is for real in African mythology. It's a cosmic Black Panther, and she initiates kings. Catch my drift, right? So all of those mythologies that are represented in the comic books are actually ancestral teachings out of Egypt and out of Africa. And she is Black Jaguar, Divine Mother. Okay. And if she straddles you, hello, you have a return ticket, to remembering your mighty magnificence, that you are first spirit, and spirit you shall remain. Magdalene said, I am spirit, and spirit I shall remain, unaffected by human laws and human interpretations of truth. So the womb oracles are all about feminine empowerment through love, self-love, and then love of, right, our reflections in the mirror. How are you going to get access to sacred union if you don't have a womb oracle being a midwife, a shamanic midwife for you to claim yourself? I claim myself in love and acceptance. And then we can attract, quote unquote, conscious mate to travel with us. And so, this is it, my dear. You're bringing in the next emanation of how we reclaim our wholeness. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, so amazing. I know we could talk for another 3 hours probably.
Well, that's why we do retreats, right?
This is
like an appetizer.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we'll kind of bring it to that. Let's talk about those offers, not where, but I know that we are going to be creating an in-person retreat. Date, time, still kind of we're thinking on that, but
coalescing.
Yeah, totally. I feel that we will be doing this within the next couple of months, I feel, and really gathering together and just opening up and sharing our stories, but also, like you said, bringing in that Tantra and that power and how connected we really all are, and to help us all to birth, right, this planet, and to birth
ourselves.
Birth ourselves, yes.
And birth the planet simultaneously. Yeah. It's a both and.
Yeah. So where are other ways that people can find you, or what are you working on currently, if you want to share any of that?
Yes. So this little artwork is the Divine Union Foundation. And so this is that leadership legacy that I steward with couples and families and organizations, www.divineunionfoundation.org. And then for individuals, right, we have the Divine Union Academy.
Oh, put it in front of your, there you go.
There we go. And so that's basically for initiates, right, of these ancient mysteries that are already in their awakening process and are looking for a guide. right? I'm a master facilitator or a master alchemist, and that's www.divineunionacademy.com. Now, my primary alliances, because I am a team player, is through the Ancestors Within movement. And so there's the Ancestors Within Summit. And so this is really working within an individual and all of their ancestral systems. And that's in partnership with Beyond Being Human, where we bring in the Star Nation ancestors. So Star Nation's ancestral healing through Beyond Being Human. And so that's like for all of you, not just your multiple lifetimes.
And I did two of those, and it was incredible. Like I was part of those groups, and it was just like, whew, energy was moving. And ever since then, like I've been even more connected to, my ancestors for generations and generations and generations, and the ancestors of the land. So it's just been so, I recommend working with you. Because I think you're amazing.
I have the mystery school, right? The Soul Intelligence Academy, and those, have very progressive temple initiations for individuals and couples. And yet, when we realize that the most entrenched or stubborn karmic patterns are ancestral karmic imprints and archetypal karmic imprints, it's really important to feel into the gestalt of the individual transformation. It's like we're an avenue through which the larger purification transpires, and you won't really get personal freedom. You won't really get personal liberation if you're not taking stock of that limbic birth imprint that you received, right, in your mother's belly. So this is pretty advanced stuff. And so, people that are already well on their path are the ones that are a good fit for me. And then, like I said, Valerie and Athena and I are an astronomically amazing Trinity, triplet, Triskel, Triketra team. And
we're the fun and the fire.
We're just, elated to have found each other again, and, back in the saddle of our conduitness, right? We're conduits for miracles, and that's our commitment. We don't take credit, right? We're all ambassadoresses for the Divine Mother. She facilitates this miracle healing through us as a triwave or a trivecca. So we invite you into that exploration as well.
Well, it's been so amazing talking to you, and I will make sure to put all the information in the description of the video below, so you guys can definitely check out her work and stay tuned for upcoming events, in-person events, and probably some more online as well. So thank you so much. I think that you're amazing, and the work that you're doing is phenomenal, and you being that pillar and that channel anchoring in these codes is so needed. And just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, well, we are the embodiment of this original divine union. And if people would like to check out our 3 previous events that we had as triplets, that will also be made available so that people can kind of get caught up over the last 7 to 8 months of incredibleness that have been flowing through. And then, like I said before, the fall equinox, having a direct, tangible, in-person immersion is just even more exquisite.
Woo! All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yes. Keep it flowing.
Woo!